ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. तपोवन प्रसाद. कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त प्रणश्यति. तपोवन उवाच. If the jnanis find their joy in meditating upon the formless Brahman, the bhaktas revel in the contemplation of the divine form. सुरासुरैः सेवितपादपङ्कजा करे विराजत्कमनीयपुस्तका विरिञ्चि पत्नी कमलासनस्थिता सरस्वती नृत्यतु वाचि मे सदा. May Saraswati, who is the spouse of Lord Brahma and is seated on a lotus, whose feet are worshipped by both devatas and asuras, whose hands hold the beautiful book, dance on my tongue always. Shri Saraswati Stotram, Agastya Muni Proktam, verse 3. Guru Dhyanam. गुरुरेको हि जानाति स्वरूपं देवमव्ययं तज्ज्ञानं तत्प्रसादेन नान्यथा शास्त्रकोटिभिः. The Guru alone knows the nature of the inseparable Lord, imperishable Lord. That knowledge can be obtained only by the Guru's grace and not in any other way, even by studying crores of scriptures. Guru Gita 3.66. From bud to bloom to the beyond. Ajakaranda in bloom evokes a variety of responses. A photographer assesses the light and color. A botanist observes symmetry, pollination, and petal design. However, a mission member may recall Pujya Gurudev's words, growth is effective and enduring, beautiful and enchanting only when it takes place at its own leisurely stride and natural rhythm. No hurry, let it happen in his gracious pace. Each phase of the jacaranda's blossoming holds a lesson. The bud does not bloom by force. The flower does not cling to its fragrance. The tree does not mourn the fall of petals. Moreover, the tree offers beauty unconditionally. It does not ask, who will see me or will I be appreciated? It simply fulfills its dharma. In doing so, it depicts the ideal of selfless service. Our lives too have seasons of outer and inner blossoming. The outer, a flourishing career, success, recognition, is easily discernible. Inner spiritual blossoming is not sudden. Nature does not rush the unfolding of a bud. Very few of us are dedicated of beauty and grandeur, the Supreme Mother. Worship of the Lord with devotion, with the help of a symbol, is called upasana. The outer sadhana by itself becomes a mere vain glorious show if it is not fully supported by inner sincerity and true devotion. Prayer is the means, the path, the staff, and the goal. Regularly pray. Prayer is power. Earn the priceless wealth of dispassion, discrimination, and an impressible irrepressible desire for immediate liberation from the worlds of life and death. Step on the accelerator, dash through the open wide road of bhakti. Only don't sleep at the wheels. Be alert. The Navaratri festival is celebrated at night rather than during the day. The spiritual message is we have lived long enough in the sleepy ignorance of Tamagun. Please wake up. Discipline yourself to work and strive without the shackles of likes and dislikes, love and hatred, joy and sorrow. These come and go, ignore them with a mere side glance. Make your home an ashram and retire there into the caves of inner life. Don't pollute that place with samsaric feelings and mental agitations. Daily prayers and sincere devotion to the Lord with an innocent, loving heart make us achieve everything in life. To surrender ourselves to our own higher intellect, to declare confidently with faith, I shall do thy bidding, is the beginning and end of all spiritual life. For those who want to walk the path of divine knowledge and reach the ultimate, the most efficient technique is bhakti. The Lord Ishvara, in his multiple expressions, manifests himself as the Mother Divine Ishwari. Her grace is most potent. Selfless karma, rituals, and practices of devotion, japa, and puja alone can purify the inner personality and bring more and more integration. Wear the gloves of constant Ishwar Smaran on your mind. The more the seeker realizes his helplessness without mother's protecting grace, the more ardent the farmer becomes. His devotion to the sacred feet of the beloved mother. The mother concept of God will never leave the world as long as man craves for the mother's unquestioning, all giving, doting love. Ever pure and benign in essence, Mother Ganges is nothing but the Supreme Self. She is pure auspiciousness. Let us invoke the grace and beauty, serenity and purity of the Divine Mother and pray for her divine help to render our hearts as pure as herself. The source of all joy in the entire universe is but the bliss of the self. Even a householder, when he learns to work and strive in a continuous spirit of dedication unto thee, O Mother, even he must necessarily experience thy nature divine. Whenever worldly worries and inimical thoughts reach your mind, at once let your lips repeat Hari Om, Hari Om. Make this a habit. Why scriptures are read to a dying man? Pujya Swami Shivananda Ji. Man takes birth in this world with a definite purpose. It is not for mere sensual enjoyment that man is born in this world. The goal of life is self realization or God consciousness. The various activities of life should ultimately lead to that ideal or goal, or else life itself is wasted. There is no difference between the life of a beast and that of a man if he does not attempt to attain the goal of life. In the Gita, you will find, whosoever leaving the body goes forth remembering me alone. At the time of death, he attains my being. There is no doubt about this. It is very difficult to keep up God consciousness at the time of death when diseases torment the body, when consciousness fades away. Some people imagine, why should a man become a sadhu and spend his life in the Himalayas? What is wanted is that one should think of God at the time of death. That can be done even at home. This is a mistake. The thought of God comes to a man at the time of death only through the grace of God, grace of the Lord. You have to keep the practice of remembrance of Namasmaran every day, every hour, rather every second. When a strong habit is formed by unceasing practice throughout the period of your life, then it will be easy to remember God at the time of death. For this, you will have to lead a well regulated life after learning it from a saintly personality and living with him or her for some years. If you can do this while remaining in the world, it is all the more helpful for your spiritual growth. You can be in the world and at the same time be out of it, pursuing worldly activities throughout the day and sleeping at night. You will find no time to think of God at all. Even if you do some japa or prayer for 10 to 15 minutes daily, while the rest of the time you spend in worldly activities, you cannot make very great spiritual advancement. Therefore, the remembrance of God should be constant so that the thought of God may come automatically at the time of death as well. A devotee says to the Lord, O Lord, let me enter the cool shade of your lotus like feet this very day, when my senses are strong, when my memory is good, when the intellect is perturbed and perverted at the time of death, it may be carried away by the threefold diseases of the body. Even the most devout aspirant may fail to think of the Lord at the time of death due to the weakness of the physical body. That is the reason why the Gita, the Bhagavad, Vishnu Sahasranam, and other holy scriptures are recited at the deathbed of the sick person. Even though he may not be able to speak, he may hear what is read out to him. This will help the sick man in forgetting his body or his ailment and think of the Lord. One always desires to die in a peaceful death with the mind fixed on God. When the memory falls, these sacred sentences of the scriptures will remind one of one's real nature. Ordinarily, a dying man is haunted by various horrible thoughts. He cannot concentrate on God. His mind will be clouded with innumerable thoughts. He would be thinking, who will look after my wife and children if I die? What will become of my property? Who will realize the outstanding dues from the debtors? I have not done such and such work. The second son is not married. The first son has not been blessed with a child. The work is half finished. Many lawsuits are pending judgment. Thus, reviewing the actions of his whole life and thinking of the future, he will feel miserable. When holy books are read and interest in the Leelas of the Lord is created, there is every possibility of man forgetting his worldly attachments. The relatives gathered around him shouldn't begin to weep, then his mind will be more afflicted. On the other hand, they must encourage him to think of God alone. When the mind of the sick man is thus gradually turned from the network of worldly matters and centered on the picture, Leela, or teachings of the Lord, all favorable conditions are created thereby for the passing of the life breath. The mind also is peacefully established in the thought of God. He will then repent for his follies and pray to God sincerely. Sincere prayers can undo the evil effects of bad karma. Viveka and Vairagya may dawn in him in the twinkling of an eye, even if at the time of death real Viveka and Vairagya dawn in him. It is enough to give him the solace which the soul strives for. Ajamila was a pious man, but due to his contact with women of all ill fame in the forest, he lost all his tejas, divine splendor, and tapas shakti when he saw the messenger of Yama threatening him with the noose and spears. He called for Narayan, his second son. As soon as he uttered the name of Narayan, the messengers of Vishnu arrived with the celestial chariot, drove away the messengers of Yama, and took Ajamal to Vaikuntha. King Parikshit heard Srimad Bhagavat from Sri Shuka, a born Siddha and the son of sage Vyas. For 7 days he observed fast for 7 days, and on the seventh day Sri Shuka initiated him into Brahma Vidya. He meditated on the Supreme Tattva and became one with the Supreme Brahman. The mighty the mighty Takshak appeared before him and with his deadly venom killed Parikshit. Parikshit failed as if an insect was licking his feet. He went beyond body consciousness. He had burnt his body by the fire of yoga practice even before Takshak beat him. King Khatwanga realized the Supreme Brahman in less than an hour. These great men had done intense sadhana throughout life and they remembered the Lord constantly. May all realize God in this very birth. By constantly remembering Him, may He appear before you at the time of your departure from the body. The divine contractor, Swami Chinmayananda. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord declares Sarva Bhutani Kauntaya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaye Punastani Kalpadav Visrujamiham. All beings, O Kaunteya, merge into my Prakriti nature at the end of the Kalpa. At the dawn of the next Kalpa, I send them forth once again. The eternal rhythm, O Kaunteya, son of Kunti, all the name, names and forms you see in this vast universe alone, plant, animal, stone, plant, animal, human, all of them without exception, dissolve into the unmanifest at the close of the Kalpa, at the end of the aeon, an immensely long period of time. But no, don't be alarmed. It is like a long, deep sleep, and you shall awaken refreshed, like a lily blooming new. When the kalpa ends, all names and forms dissolve into the unmanifest. You rest, as it were, and then with the rising of the next kalpa, everything is projected again, just as it was before. Om. A debtor who goes in sleep does not awaken free of his debt. The account remains. In sleep, your anxieties, worries, sorrows, and tragedies all dissolve into rest. You experience serenity and peace. But when you awaken, the same world, with its joys and burdens, is projected once again. The total vasanas of all beings, all names and forms, the entire universe of things and beings, everything merges into next aeon begins, merges into my Trigunatmika Prakriti at the end of the Kalpa. And when the next aeon begins, when sufficient rest has been taken, the cosmic mind steers into activity once more. Yet it cannot function without me. It is my presence that enlivens it. It is I who make it all come alive. So I project the universe once again into this world of multiplicity. पुनस्ताने कल्पादो विसृजाम्यहम्. Your plan, sir. Upon hearing this, an intellectual might raise a sharp question. O Lord, you yourself have confessed that you are the grand architect of it all. Then it is you who must be held responsible for projecting this world of sorrow, pain, poverty, disease, and death. You are a great criminal. We should hang you from the nearest lamp post. Let us consider a story. Sri Ramaswamy, a South Indian gentleman, had dedicated 45 years of his life to the secretariat, starting as a humble typist. Over time, he gradually advanced through the ranks and eventually became secretary to the Public Works Department (PWD). A year before his retirement, he decided to take some leave and return to his native village in South India. There, he met the village head, acquired the necessary maps, and identified his ancestral property. He asked his nephew who lived in the village to oversee the construction of a compound wall. When he inquired about a local contractor, the nephew recommended Muthu, a man known for his honesty and reverence, especially towards the family. Muthu was called in. Ramaswamy said, I want a small house built here. Yes, sir. Do you have a plan? Ramaswamy, having worked in the PWD for decades, responded with authority, what plan? I will show you. Taking out a pencil and a piece of paper, he sketched a simple house, a narrow veranda, a tiny kitchenette, a small dining space, one bedroom with an attached bathroom, an entrance hall, a storeroom, and beneath that, a puja room. Everything was neatly drawn, just as he envisioned. He handed it to Muthu and asked for an estimate. The next morning, Muthu returned with a quote calculated on a per square foot basis. The rate was similar to Delhi standards. Ramaswamy agreed and construction commenced. In about 8 or 9 months, the house was completed. Ramaswamy decided on Shanti Niketan as the name of the house, and it was then inscribed on a marble plaque and fixed at the gate. Upon retirement, following a grand farewell, Ramaswamy requested the PWD contractor to provide him with 2 or 3 trucks to transport his belongings back to the village. Over the years, he had accumulated a substantial number of things. His wife had a habit of hoarding bottles, newspapers, and various other odds and ends. She wouldn't part with them. The transport was free, so no harm done. Ramaswamy had 6 sons and 4 daughters, all well settled across South India, one each 4 or 5 children of their own. Upon hearing of their parents' return, they all decided to gather in Madras to receive them. Each couple arrived in their car, children in tow, ready to escort their parents home. At the airport, Ramaswamy was surprised to see such a large crowd. For a moment, he thought a VIP must be arriving, but as he walked closer, he realized with quite amazement that the entire crowd had sprung from him alone. He got into a car with his wife, 10 cars, fully loaded with children, followed behind. They wound through the narrow village lanes and finally reached the property. He was annoyed to see the 3 trucks already parked on the land. When did they arrive? He asked his nephew. Yesterday, came the reply. Then why haven't you unloaded them? I could have, the nephew explained, but I didn't know where to put everything. Just then, all 10 cars flung open their doors. A flood of children of all shapes and sizes rushed towards the newly built home. As Ramaswamy stepped inside the compact dining area and single bedroom house, now crammed with his children and grandchildren, he found there was no space to sit. Eventually, he sat on the last step of the veranda and called for Muthu. When Muthu arrived, he asked, Where am I supposed to sleep? What sort of house is this?" Muthu, well trained in handling senior officials, remained silent. Frustrated, Ramaswamy repeated, "Where do you expect me to sleep? What's the point of this house?" Then he muttered, "Tear it down." Muthu, like all good contractors, carried a well-worn notebook in his pocket. From it he extracted an old creased paper the original sketch given by Ramaswamy. He unfolded it carefully and said, "Sir, this is the plan you gave me. I built it exactly as per your design. If there is no room for everyone, it's not my fault." He paused and continued, "You are upset and want to pull the house down, but that's not necessary. Please let me know how many bedrooms you require. I hear you want 10 more rooms. There's plenty of space at the back. I can build 10 rooms with 5 bathrooms. Then the whole family can stay comfortably. Please don't demolish the house. Let us build on it." The old man sat there, visibly angry, lost in thought. Man designs, God executes. Today, you and I are pointing fingers at God, accusing Him of being the cause behind this miserable world. Lord, get ready. Is there, if there is any justice left in this world, you, your neck is in danger. You must allow me to handle it. And what does Bhagwan say? What can I do? I am not the creator in the way you think. I am merely a contractor. Each one of you, through your own past actions and thoughts, have given me the plan. According to that plan, I have built your experiences, measured amounts of joy and sorrow exactly as you ordered. Each of us, thought by thought, action by action, is handing over a blueprint to the Lord, and He, as the faithful contractor, simply carries it out. If our collective vasanas are negative, how can the Lord create a bright and joyful world? When your desires and tendencies are tempted, the world that arises must reflect them. If you have accumulated misery through your past actions, a world of misery is what you will receive. The sorrow you experience is not imposed, it is earned. But Swamiji, how can we improve the world? You improve yourself, change your attitude towards life, develop a concern for others, stop corruption, drop the delusion of that drinking or acquiring a second wife or chasing pleasures will bring happiness. Live the values of life, truthfulness, compassion, and discipline. Only then will you create a new and higher pattern, a new plan. Then wait and watch if the Lord does not rebuild the world accordingly. Every sorrow, whether in this nation or in war torn regions like Iraq, Iran, or Lebanon, look carefully, it is man made. Is it God's fault? No. He is only fulfilling your order. He has merely executed what you asked for. If man changes, the world must change. But we don't want to change. Instead, we continue to stew in our own misfortunes, pointing the finger upward. So, what will happen to the world, Swamiji? Nothing will happen. It will not improve. It will become worse. Calamities will increase. Security will disappear, and the law of the jungle will reign. Why? Because you and I are not ready to change. Think. But Swamiji, how can you make everyone change? It's not necessary. Even if one person changes, it is enough. When I change, I deserve a better world. And so the Lord, the true contractor, is obliged to build a better world around me. Why? Because I now deserve it. One Punyatma is enough. One Jesus, one Muhammad, one Buddha, and the world changes. Wherever such a person goes, there must be prosperity. Why? Because he doesn't deserve poverty. He doesn't carry the vasanas of suffering. That's why our Purana says, now that a Mahatma has come, surely the rains will follow. Even if there is not a drop of water anywhere, if a Mahapurush arrives, the rain will come because he deserves it. Even if he has to drink, the Lord will come and place a jug of water before him. Just one person has to change. But none of us wants to change. Everyone wants to sit in his own corruption and want the other person to change. Garibi hatao. Who will change it? You. Then I will come and inaugurate prosperity. Nobody wants to remove poverty by working hard themselves. The slogan has come. You remove poverty, you fix the nation, and then I will show you how to celebrate. And what about you? Oh, I can't do that. I will just sit here. As long as this attitude remains, the country cannot improve, society will not improve, the community will remain in decay. Each one of us must take responsibility. Let me live a righteous life, whether or not anyone else is doing so. Let me walk the path, even if it costs me everything, even if I must die for it. Let me die in that effort. Then the world must change, changing the culture of a nation, the climate of its spirit, the character of its people. This cannot be done by parliament or by leaders. They cannot do it. You change and see. See whether others follow. See whether your world changes around you. But we lack the courage. Instead, we continue to accuse God. Bhagavan, you made a bad world, and so he remains silent. Because to answer such an accusation is meaningless. You are blaming the wrong person, animating my Prakriti again and again. I sent forth all this multitude of beings, helpless by the force of nature, Prakriti. According to the Prakriti, the vasana that you had created, I myself projected the whole world for you. But the quality of the world depends upon the blueprint that you had given. This entire world of living beings, the entire universe of living beings, totality with no exception is helpless. Each one will create a world according to his own vasanas until you change the texture and quality of your deep psychological nature. God cannot help you. You want that? Okay. You want this? Okay. These two verses have a very deep significance that I am the creator responsible for the creation. Why? I am only giving you what you cried for. You don't know to cry for the right things. What am I to do? The child cries, chutney. I want chutney. The father is very kind and says, Beta, it is very spicy. But the child insists, no, I want chutney. Take it if you want, says the father. I have told you 10 times that it is too spicy for you. The child eats the chutney and suffers. The mother will say, the father, is the cause for his suffering. Shame on you, he is just a child. You should know better. The father remains absolutely silent, without any sense of guilt, since he thinks it is the right way to teach his son. From now on, if he says the chutney is spicy, the child will not touch it. But he is your son, he may eat it again and suffer. The mother insists. So, Lord, you are creating everything. In that case, you must be the greatest criminal in the world. You must be somebody terrible. The Lord says, all this creation is going on. I am unaffected. I have neither ego nor egocentric desire in doing it. I am not doing it, therefore, I don't develop any vasanas. The Lord creates the environment precisely necessary for each one of us according to our vasanas. The Lord is according to our vasanas. The Lord is unaffected with neither ego nor egocentric desire in creation. He does not develop any vasanas because he does not act out of ego. Similarly, when you and I start living with godly love and express our actions in the world outside without ego and egocentric desires, we will be doing a beautiful job in the world outside. The Lord creates the exact environment absolutely necessary for each one of us according to the vasanas of each individual. The Lord creates the world according to the collective blueprint provided by us, not for His pleasure, but He is the higher and He does not need it, but we need it. Thus, He projects a world where we can exhaust our vasanas. Kathopanishad 41 Param Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayanandji. We have seen that Dharmaraja revealed and reiterated quite a few times the Atma Tattva in our heart and said, Etad Vetat. We also learned that those who realize the truth attain supreme peace and bliss. Tesham sukham shashvatam, tesham shanti shashvati, naitaresham. Though Yamaraja has said, Etad Vetat, someone else has to confirm it as well. Yes, Tad Etat. So the next mantra asserts it. Tadetamiti manyante, तदेतदिति मन्यन्ते अनिर्देश्यं परमं सुखं कथं नु तद्विजानीयां किमु भाति विभाति वा. The mantra tells us how the Parama Tattva, Atma Vijnanam, is Paramam Sukham, the highest bliss. The word Paramam has many meanings: unexhaled, unconditioned, incomparable. However, if someone wants to compare this Sukha with the worldly experience, then the Upanishad declares that it is anirdesham, cannot be indicated. It is indefinable. This is because we refer to or indicate worldly things through names and forms, actions, modifications, relation, etc. However, this Sukham cannot be described in this manner. It does not fall within the framework of this world, and therefore it is anirdesan. At the same time, the realized masters say, Tadetat iti manyante. This indeed is that I am directly experiencing it. This is called Aptavakya. The next line of the mantra poses some questions. Katham nu tadvijanayam. How am I to know this? Will I be able to know this the way you are experiencing it? Kimu bhati, when it is not the object of the senses, mind, and intellect, then who knows it? Does it shine there as it is Swayam Prakasha? And Kimu Vibhati va Visheshana Bhati? Does it shine in different ways also? In short, how am I to know it? This could be the question of Nachiketa or posed by Yamaraja himself also. In this context, I remember watching some great music maestros performing. When they may take a beautiful tana, even though it does not have the lyrics, their disciples look up with great adoration and also pine to sing like that. Similarly, the great painter may seem to put a few strokes across the canvas effortlessly, and we have a picture of a royal horse. The ordinary art student may feel happy even if it is able to draw a donkey. Even if he is able to draw a donkey properly. When this feeling arises in the field of any worldly knowledge, then imagine the case of this exalted knowledge. Hence the expression Katham nu tadvijaniyam. We may understand but keep wondering, how I wish I knew this. Will I ever know this? Since this knowledge cannot be defined or perceived by the senses, the listeners may tend to think that it does not exist, and even though they may not doubt it, they may become indifferent and remain contented with their usual way of life. But this is Aptavakya Pramanam. When a realized person says it, then it has to be there. Some should be, this should be there should be no room for any doubt whatsoever. Of its existence and our ability to experience it. In the same way, this knowledge is no upekshitavyam. It should not be ignored. Instead of doubting, one should ask, when will I be able to know it? Only when you know this truth, life is fulfilled. In the same way, the knowledge the same way, the knowledge is no upekshitavya. It should not be ignored. Instead of doubting, you should ask, when will I be able to know it? Only when you know this truth, life is fulfilled. The next mantra answers the questions about the truth. How can it be known? Is it self-shining or depends on another medium? Can it be known through any other means? Natarka suryo bhati chandratara Nima vidyuto bhandi kutoyam agni Tamev bhantam anubhati sarvam Tasya bhasa sarvamidam bhati. The direct, straight answer is that this knowledge is bhati, vibhati cha. It shines and also Visheshana shines in such a manner that we can recognize it. This mantra is generally associated with arati. It has a profound meaning and it also is also found in the Mundokopanishad. No, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. That Atma Tattva is there where the sun does not shine. It means that the sun is not able to illumine it. We see all objects in the light of the sun, but this Tattva cannot be seen in the light of the sun. The sun has no reach there. Hence, obviously, no Chandra Tarakam. The moon and the stars also cannot illumine it. Further, na ima vidyuto bhanti. Lightning cannot illumine it. A child once described lightning as Bhagavan's flash photography. What a nice thought. Seeing the lightning, one is spontaneously reminded of God. In modern times, Vidyuta means electricity also. So the electrical lights also do not illumine it. How then can fire illumine it? Kuto ayamagnihi. We chant this during Arati, for the burning camphor cannot illumine it. Thus the sun, moon, the stars, lightning or fire cannot illumine it. We may think that since no light reaches there, it must be very dark. Not so. The mantra says, तमेव भान्तं अनुभाति सर्वं. तमेव भान्तं अनुभाति सर्वं. Actually, it shines by itself and illumines everything else. Anubhati sarvam. Anu means paschat, after. Everything shines after it because because of it. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. By that light alone, by its light alone, does everything else shine forth. Let us understand it this way. Can the moon illumine the sun? No. Does it mean the sun in dark? Again, The answer is no. The sun is self-shining and its light alone is reflected in the form of moonlight. The sun shines Bhati and in the form of moonlight Vibhati. Bhagavan Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, यदादित्यगतं तेजः जगद्भासेते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्. Gita 15 chapter verse number 12. The light that is in the sun, the moon and the fire, understand that to be my light. This means that the Atma Tattva is Swayam Chaitanya Swarup, not Prakasha Swarup. Whenever we say Swayam Prakasha, we tend to think in terms of light. One seeker requested Bhagavan Shankaracharya to reveal this truth to him, and Bhagavan said it in just one shloka known as Ekashloki, Vedanta in one shloka. He asked the seeker, how do you see these things of the world? The seeker replied, I see them in the light of the sun. How do you see at night when the sun is not there? In the moonlight, the light of the stars, or by the light of a lamp. How do you know that the sunlight or the moonlight is there? Who illumines them? My eyes illumine them. When you close your eyes, does any knowledge take place? How do you see your thoughts? With my intellect, the buddhi. But how are you aware of these thoughts? By which light? I know without anybody's help. This I is the drashta. It is drug eva natu drishyate. It is the seer. It cannot be seen. It is Chaitanya Swarupa Jyoti, self-shining. Thus, know that Jyoti you are. This is the sum and substance of Advaita Vedanta. So, this is the Bhati and Vibhati also. All the luminaries of the world, starting from the mind, intellect, senses, to the sun, shine. After it only. Earlier also we have discussed this. In which light do we see our dream? It is Swayam Vibhati. Atah Anyani Bhasayet Sadhanam Vina. It shines on its own without depending on any other instrument and hence illuminates everything also. Vedanta merely removes our ignorance. The Vedanta Pramana is not required for Brahman. Brahman does not need any Pramana. It is the Jiva who is ignorant, and Jiva has no gain, and Jiva has to gain the knowledge. Vedanta removes the ignorance. The knowledge is self shining. If someone does not know the sun by its name, he merely needs to be told that it is the sun. Nothing else is required to illumine the sun. Once Bhagavan Shankaracharya explained to a seeker how he can think in that direction and in the process realize the truth. He too can do so and explain Tadetat iti manyante. With this mantra, the second valya of the third chapter of the Upanishad is completed. Satsang with Swami Swarupananda in Toronto 1. Pujya Swami Swarupananda ji conducted a Jnana Yajna in Toronto from July 20 to 24, 2024. After the lunch and dinner bhikshas, Pujya Swamiji would graciously hold informal satsangs with the devotees where the atmosphere was light, warm and relative. We present these We present here a question and answer session from one of these inspiring gatherings. The challenges of COVID. Since the COVID 19 pandemic, everything has moved online. Now that it continues, I find the engagement isn't the same as in person study groups. What can we do? True, unfortunately, people tend to follow the law of inertia. Online has become convenient. There's traffic outside, time constraints, but yes, there is nothing like a community. Study groups are not just about discussing ideas, they are a support system. Just like children need youth groups, adult adults need spiritual support system, especially those of you entering the Vanaprastha stage. That means you are in the third stage of life. You no longer have too many outward responsibilities. However, you must keep spiritual activities alive or the mind will decay. That's why even among people like you, people who have lived such rich lives, we are seeing more Alzheimer's, dementia, and depression causes. It shouldn't happen, but it is happening. Reduce screen time where possible. First, it's the TV, then it's more screen time because what else will you do? Children aren't around, grandchildren rarely visit. Earlier, you would visit a local temple, now most of it is on screen. So, yes, online study was beneficial when we couldn't meet in person. It still is for those who are far away, who can't drive or have limitations. But if you can come in person, come, try, because when I'm with you in person, I respond to your expressions, your questions. Online, I speak, anticipating your needs, but in person, I can see your eyes, I can see your confusion. It is responsive, it is personal. Eye contact is very important for me. Of course, there is emotional exchange too. Online, I try to be as clear as I can, but when I see someone's confusion or doubt in their eyes, I can address it right there. I can see what lands and what doesn't. There is no substitute for that. When we went to school, we learned better because of direct connection. I can't learn online. It's true for many, we all had to adapt. But the impact of a holy place, a satsang, a like-minded community, nothing matches that. COVID changed a lot. How can we bring the warmth of community back? Start small, gather a few friends, meet at the ashram, share food again. Others will come jealous of your joy. Others will come, and then they will join in sugar. Slowly it will grow. We used to meet regularly for Vivek and share meals. It was deep and joyful. We would love to return to them. You should, for those nearby, please start it. You will be surprised how quickly the spark catches on. Tools for tough times when challenging circumstances keep arising, such as traffic, illness, or relief. What should we do if situations like illness, disaster keep coming? How do we stay stable? In the second chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Mathurasvashasthu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha Agama Payanayata Anityastansi Tikshasu Bharata. O son of Kunti, the contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are non-permanent and come and go like the seasons of winter and summer. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. You have to cultivate tiksha, forbearance, patience, understand that all situations pass. You are stuck in traffic. Then what will you do? Can you fly? Some Indian drivers will find back roads, yes. But if you are stuck, you are stuck. Shouting at others won't help. Even if you miss the flight, or the use of shouting at the airline counter, the lady there isn't responsible. She is not managing the weather. Yet we went. So forbearance is the answer. Do what you can, what you cannot do, accept. That should be our simple philosophy. Change what you can, accept what you can't. That's life. Read life management techniques. You will find every very practical insights there. Has anything good ever come out of delays or severe setbacks? Let me tell you, once I missed a flight on Diwali. I was traveling from Jakarta to Singapore to Hong Kong. A boy in the family insisted on coming to the airport, but at the last minute he needed to use the restroom. He waited and I missed the flight. However, that interruption gave me the opportunity to visit a few devotee offices nearby for Lakshmi Puja. In just 1 hour, I collected $10,000. So, yes, everything happens for the good, even a toilet break. And that's the heart of what the Gita teaches us: devotion, patience, and knowledge. Devotion says this too shall pass. Knowledge says this is an illusion. Patience says bear it will do. Hold on to whichever one works for you. At the time, sometimes you may not be able to relate to a higher truth or deity. In that moment, simply remind yourself, this too shall pass, or recognize that this isn't even real, or just bear it quietly. These are the three powerful attitudes highlighted in the second chapter of the Gita. Thus most people do without observing them. Let's look deeper. The first, this too shall pass, helps you ride the wave of emotional turbulence. The second, this is an illusion, is more difficult to digest. That's the teaching of Vedanta. When we experience is Maya, what we experience is Maya, illusion. Even the body is not real. We give it so much importance, but Vedanta keeps reminding us you are not the body, and yet what happens? We study all this, and the moment the body falls ill, we panic. Yes, pain is there, but even that pain is part of the illusion. I came to understand this more deeply while traveling with Gurudev from Hong Kong to Sydney during the last year of his life. His health was visibly declining. Though he never admitted it, I used to press his legs to give him some relief. In Hong Kong, while doing so, he said, now the pain is inside, it won't help. I asked, may I take place? He said, okay, yes, not for me, but if it's working, continue. Each day his condition worsened. By the time we reached Sydney, I touched his leg, and for the first time I felt no life in it. That service I had offered for so many years, the legs no longer responded. That night on that flight, I sat next to him. He didn't sleep, nor did I. I watched him all night. I knew if I said, are you in pain? He would say nothing, just to protect me from worry. But I had to ask, Swamiji, does the body feel pain? He looked at me and said, what is pain? Then he turned the question around, where does pain come from? He knew I wasn't asking philosophically. I had lived some of these. He quoted a verse from Atmabodha, where is pain when you go to sleep? He continued, children fall down and cry. but the next moment they are back to playing. Then, when their mother comes, they cry again. Where was the pain in between? His point: pain exists only when the mind is connected to the body. Pain is not in the body, pain is not in the Atma. It is an emotion arising in the mind. Writers, poets, they channel pain into something creative, sometimes even joyful. So, what is pain really? It is all in the mind. That's why we call it relative. Relative doesn't mean you don't feel it, it means how you feel it depends on your mental state. If you can truly grasp it, really discover it, you will understand relativity. You will start to recognize Maya. You will begin to see that even the pain thought was so overwhelming is not absolute. You will learn to shift your mind deliberately away from the pain, which, by the way, you are already doing all the time. We all do. The moment you shift attention, the pain lightens and disappears. So, where is the pain? What is the reality of pain? So, the second truth Krishna reveals is that it's all an illusion. And the third, which comes in the latter chapter of the Gita, is this: everything happens by divine will. So it can only be for your good. Your mother's scolding for your good, her hug for your good, even her punishments is also for your good. Through devotion, that kind of surrender and faith come naturally. Through knowledge, you come to see it's all an illusion. Through practical life, you build the strength to bear what must be borne. And when you truly learn to bear something, you will find that it's really not that bad. Go through life management techniques. These truths are laid out practically, accompanied by exercises to help you apply them in your withdrawal or vairagya. When we practice our sadhana, we begin to change internally and to stay quiet. Certain things will likely no longer interest you, especially that are wasteful. But don't go to the extent of saying that nothing interests you. Grandchildren still interest you. Daughters-in-law may not interest you. Your friends in Chennai mission still interest you. However, those who constantly complain or discuss politics and mundane topics may not be of interest to you. Interests change as you grow. So just as your interests change from childhood to maturity, spiritual growth also changes your interest. But if you feel you are not interested in anything, then either you are experiencing true vairagya or you are simply disappointed. If it's real vairagya, then you won't feel lonely or expect anything from anyone. You don't feel the absence of people. You don't need them. But if you want them and they aren't there and you start feeling bitter, then that's not Vedanta. That's a disappointment. It is a case of grapes being sour. That's how you test yourself. Therefore, in spiritual life, daily introspection is essential. Examine yourself daily. Are you withdrawing because grapes are sour? Are you doing it from ego, thinking others are wasting their time? Introspect. When it is convenient, you are willing to waste time with family, but when it is not, you withdraw and judge. So examine, is this withdrawal vairagya or just disappointment with the world? Real vairagya brings freedom, joy, and peace. If it's merely a withdrawal, it brings loneliness and unmet expectations. Recognize it yourself. No one else can do it for you. If your withdrawal is accompanied by happiness, peace, and lack of expectations, then it is vairagya. You become more loving because you are no longer bargaining. There is no transaction in your life. You become more giving because you are not seeking anything in return. And giving doesn't drain you anymore. You feel free. True vairagya brings joy and quiet love, not bitterness or boredom. Popularity of the Gita. Why is the Gita so universally loved even across eons, whereas other divine scriptures aren't as popular? It is because how the Gita was given. You can relate to Arjun, not Nachiket. We are all like Arjun in the battlefield of life, and we need guidance there. The Gita provides us with knowledge for action. Also, the Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. That's why Acharyas have always found it amazing. Some scriptures are primarily contemplative, but the Gita is both a book of wisdom and a handbook of how to live and meditate. Just start. As we know, our goal is self realization, but we are still in Dvaita. To become Yogya fit, we need to purify our minds and cultivate clarity of thought. How do we achieve that? Through Karma Yoga, do your duties without attachment, expectation, or resentment. When I was a teen, I started practicing introspection for barely 1 month. Okay, say 3. But in that time, everything changed. Gurudev came into my life. My disinterest in worldly things grew. Books came to me. The Gita opened up. It's not some lofty theoretical philosophy floating in the clouds. It provides clear step-by-step instructions on what you need to do and what you need to achieve. But you have to begin. That is the main point. It's not that you aren't doing anything at all. You are, however, you must become aware of doing it. You have to start living it intentionally. Every verse of the Gita is telling you something. Either what your goal should be or how to achieve it. That's the beauty of it. However, you have to stop holding yourself back. No more ifs and buts. If you just keep using that same but over and over, but this, but that, but what if, but how. So long as you are stuck in your but, you will be stuck in your life. Don't think it takes a lifetime. Just start. Even in 3 months, your guru can walk into your life. I say it with conviction. They say when the student is ready, the guru appears. Yes, and you are ready. Stop underestimating yourself. It is. If the guru has come into your life, it's proof of your readiness. Accept it. Embody it. Root to the root. Swami Surinananda. The Chinmaya family celebrated the 24 day Tapovan Jayanti fast from December 5 to 25, 2019. On December 5, Pujya Swami Swarupananda launched the website theholygita.com, a single stop resource for all material related to the Bhagavad Gita available in the Chinmaya mission. Pujya Guruji inaugurated the celebrations with his discourse titled Gita Speaks. We have presented transcribed and edited version of the talk on the 15th chapter given on day 16 December 2020 by Swami Surinananda. Swamiji is presently posted Chinmaya Mission Visakhapatnam. The entire talk is available. Purushottama Prapti Yoga. The Bhagavad Gita embodies the essence of the Upanishads, and chapter 15 encapsulates the spirit of the entire Gita. Sri Krishna himself awarded this chapter the status of a Shastra to highlight its importance. Verse number 15.20. This chapter is named Purushottam Prapti Yoga. Here, Purushottam refers to the cosmic being, the imperishable indweller in this perishable body. To understand Purushottam, we must first understand what Purusha means. In common usage, Purusha is often taken to mean man, but when we look at the Sanskrit etymology, Puri Shayanat Purusha, it means one who dwells in the Pura, the city, that is the body. When we understand this deeper meaning, the idea of Purusha being limited to a man is naturally set aside. It refers to any embodied being. Purushottam is the supreme reality, the substratum beyond both the Kshara Purusha and the perishable being and the Akshara Purusha, the imperishable being. He is the cosmic presence we are now going to explore. The word Prapti means gaining or obtaining. Prapti is of two kinds, Apraptasya Prapti and Praptasya Prapti. The former refers to what I do not currently possess, which I can acquire by putting in some effort or working for it. For example, if I do not have a mobile phone, so I buy one. Earlier I did not have a phone. After purchasing it, now I have one. This is Apraptasya Prapti. Praptasya Prapti refers to something I already possess, but I am unaware of it. I need to realize that I already have it. The story that best illustrates this is about the man who misplaced his spectacles. In the process of finding them, he turned the house upside down. Finally, his wife returned home and seeing that he was searching for his glasses, she simply told him to put his hand on his head. He instantly realized that the glasses had been with him all along, but he had not known it. The title Purushottam Prapti Yoga points to the cosmic being as our true nature and not something other than ourselves. The inverted tree of samsara. Tree we know have their roots firmly embedded in the soil and are not visible. We see the branches that run the leaves and leaves rising above the ground. Bhagavan metaphorically explains a profound spiritual concept using the image of an inverted tree, its roots pointing upward and its branches and leaves pointing downwards. Is this possible? Take the example of your family, just like your parents and elders. Those born before you, they hold a higher rank. The family tree extends downwards from its ancestral source, or consider an apartment building. Those on the sixth floor are physically above those on the third floor. Similarly, in the cosmic hierarchy, there are indeed beings who exist above us in time, space, and position. Yet the one who transcends all of creation, who lies beyond this relative hierarchy, is the very root of the tree Brahman. The tree of samsara that Bhagavan refers to is the Ashwatha tree. Swa means tomorrow, Stha means to remain. Swatha thus means that which remains tomorrow. Ashwatha, on the other hand, refers to that which does not stay the same tomorrow. The name itself points to the transient, ever changing nature of samsara, the hidden wisdom of leaves. The leaves, Chandansi Asya Pranami, are the Vedic mantras in the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas, which guides us towards righteous living. First, let us first, just as leaves add beauty to a tree, the Vedic mantras bring beauty and meaning to our lives. They help us fulfill our desires through righteous means. And when this happens, the entire samsara becomes beautiful, just as leaves enhance the tree's appearance. Righteous actions inspired by the Vedas bring grace and harmony into the world. Second, leaves strengthen the tree, they are its nourishing agents. This is the scientific truth. Similarly, our desires are what give strength to samsara. Imagine a world without desire prompted action, where every individual has renounced all desires. Would samsara have any vitality? No. It is our desires that infuse life and energy into the samsara vriksha. It is our desires that infuse life and energy into the samsara vriksha, the tree of worldly existence. Finally, leaves also conceal the tree's blemishes. There may be rough patches, decay, or termites, but we don't always notice them because the tree gently covers them, leaves gently cover them. Similarly, the samsara vriksha also has two inherent flaws: anitya impermanence and asukha, the absence of lasting happiness. The Karma Kanda mantras act like leaves, veiling these fruits. Though karma brings results, what we attain is not permanent, nor does it guarantee enduring happiness. Yet we remain within samsara, sustained and nourished by these actions. Now, when the Lord speaks of this tree, he describes it as avyaya, imperishable. One might wonder, how can this ever changing samsara be avyaya? Is there a contradiction? No. What is being spoken of here is its continuous unbroken flow, known as Pravahi Nityata. Though its forms change, its stream never ends. It appears avyaya not in essence but in its eternal moment, cutting the roots of samsara. Having explained the ephemeral nature of samsara, the Lord gives this advice: Asanga Shastrena Drudhena Chitva. Cut asunder this tree of samsara with the firm weapon of non attachment to Vairagya or Vairagya. How do we cultivate Vairagya? By recognizing that all worldly happiness carries three inherent doshas, flaws: kashaya, satishaya, and patana. Kashaya dosh reminds us that everything is time bound. Just like the tenures of government officers, the members are members of parliament. Each day that passes reduces their term. Satishaya dosha refers to the sense of dissatisfaction that arises even in someone self-sufficient when they compare themselves to someone in a seemingly superior position. Patana dosha is the pain of decline. Status or position. A highly placed individual may be surrounded by attention and respect, but the day when they retire, all of that seems to vanish. When a person deeply understands these three doshas in worldly pleasures, Vairagya arises naturally. Another way to the asanga understand the asanga shastra is as freedom from the three major desires: Utteshana, Vitteshana, and Lokeshana. The desire for progeny, wealth, and fame. Usually, Usually the desire for wealth fades first, followed gradually by the desire for progeny. The last one to leave is the desire for fame. which often diminishes only towards the end of one's life. Freedom from these three desires is a sure sign that Vairagya has taken root. Preparing for the ultimate journey. If one's goal is to reach a place like Kailas Mansarovar, physical strength becomes essential. Preparing for such a journey requires rigorous training and stamina building. Now suppose someone entertains the ambition to become the Prime Minister of a country. The required skills in that case are entirely different. Just as reaching a destination or attaining a position requires effort and preparation, so too does the realization of God. Knowing His absolute nature or becoming one with Him calls for its own unique guidance and readiness. In the following verse, Sri Krishna outlines the necessary qualifications. Those निर्माणमोहाजित संगदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसंज्ञा गच्छन्त्यं पदमव्ययम्. Those who are free from vanity and delusion, who have overcome the evil of attachment, who dwell constantly on the self and on God, who are free from the desire to enjoy sense pleasures and are beyond the dualities of pleasure and pain. Such liberated personalities attain my eternal abode. The primary qualification is freedom from mana, ego, and moha, delusion. Next is the conquest of attachments, sanga dosha. A step higher is constancy in spiritual focus, adhyatma nitya. Renunciation of desires, vinirutta kama, and freedom from the dualities of life, dvandva vimuktaha. Pleasure and pain, success and failure, joy and sorrow. Describing his supreme abode, Bhagavan says, न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Neither the sun nor the moon nor fire can illumine that supreme abode of mine. Having gone there, one does not return to this material world again. These luminaries derive their very power to shine from the Supreme Being. This is an echo from the Kathopanishad. न तत्र सूर्योभाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति. There the sun does not shine, nor the moon, nor the stars, lightning does not shine there. What to speak of this fire? It is that self alone which shines, and everything else shines after it. By its light, all this appears illuminated. From an Adhyatmic standpoint, the sun is the presiding deity of the eyes. The moon governs the mind, and the fire rules over speech. The eyes here represent all the sense organs. The mind stands for the inner faculties, and speech stands for organs of action. Organs of action. The supreme reality pointed to in these verses is not an object that can be grasped by the mind, intellect, senses, or actions. It lies beyond perception and beyond feeling, beyond all that is knowable in the ordinary sense. It is not available as an object of perfection or feeling, perception or feeling, beyond return, beyond illusion. Bhagavan further declares that for anyone who reaches that supreme abode, there is no return in this world of transient objects. Every arrival is followed by a departure. Every arrival is followed by a departure and every meeting by a separation. So, why does the local Lord affirm that upon reaching that realm, there is no coming back? For an ordinary Jew, the cycle of coming and going remains. However, for those who have realized their true all-pervading nature, there is neither departure nor return. Freed from identification and suffering, mistaken identities and suffering, they abide in the self, unmoving and eternal. The Lord explains that the Jiva is a part of himself, yet this truth about the Paramapadam and the Jiva divine organizes and the Jiva divine origin is not grasped by those burdened with two specific shortcomings: impure desire filled minds, akrutatmanaha, and lack of clear thinking, achetasa. The Lord asserts that purity of mind and clarity of thought are the two most essential qualities for one who seeks to attain the supreme abode. Chapter 10 explores that these ideas in detail, but here the Lord goes even further, proclaiming that the radiance of the sun, moon, fire, indeed all light, belongs to Him alone. यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विद्धिमानकम्. Know that I am like the brilliance of the sun that illuminates the entire solar system, the radiance of the moon, and the brightness of the fire also come from me. This can be better understood through a dream example. I find myself wandering in a desert under a harsh blazing sun. Eventually, as night descends, I stumble upon a village and look up at a full radiant moon. As the air cools, I sit near a fire, feeling its comforting warmth. In that dream, I saw the sun, moon, and fire, and yet who illumined them all? It was I alone, the dreamer. Likewise, the Lord is the illuminator of all brilliance in creation, both outer and inner. He then declares that he is the sustainer of all vegetation, the basis of life itself, as the ultimate source. Both food and plant life are but reflections of his being. Drawing even closer to us, the Lord says, I dwell in your stomach, as the Vairagya, as the Vaishvanar Agni, the digestive fire. Gita, chapter 15, 12, 14, 15. The food we consume becomes an offering to this sacred flame. Thus, eating becomes a form of worship, an oblation offered to the divine victim, divine within. Closer still, he reveals I am in every heart. Rudhi as memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. All three arise only in the light of consciousness. Memory and forgetfulness relate to the past. Knowledge pertains to the present. Wrong ideas are dissolved by knowledge, which brings clarity. As children, we believed the sun rose in the east and set in the west. Later, we understood it is the earth that turns. Knowledge corrects errors. These three faculties, memory, forgetfulness, and knowledge, are possible only in the light of life. The fulfilled one. Before concluding, the Lord speaks of his higher para and lower apara natures, and finally declares that the substratum of both, the essence bound beyond the perishable and the imperishable, is known as Purushottam, the Supreme Being, etat buddhva buddhiman syat pratakrutyascha bharata. To Arjun, whom he lovingly addresses as Anaga, the sinless one with a pure heart, and as Bharata, the one who revels in the light of wisdom. This most exalted and secret teaching has now been revealed. Merely possessing intellect, buddhi, does not make one truly wise, buddhiman. Wisdom arises only when that intellect is rightly applied to realize the design reality, realize the highest reality. The one who recognizes and abides in the supreme truth becomes akritakritya, a person who has accomplished all that is to be accomplished, fully content and complete. Once again, the Lord emphasizes that the two most essential qualities required to know the nature of the divine and attain the Paramapadam, purity of mind and clarity of thought. May Lord Krishna and Puja Gurudev bless us with both. जीवन है संगीत स्वामी तेजोमयानंद 75th birthday celebrations. June 28th, a day when devotion danced. The morning of June 28, 2025, saw Chinmay Vibhuti Kodwad Maharashtra transform into a scene of divine festivity. Nature herself seemed to join the celebration, with lush greenery and trains of trees, setting the perfect backdrop for the event. Honoring Swami Tejavanandaji, fondly called Guruji within Chinmay Mission on his 75th birthday, aptly titled Jeevan Hai Sangeet, a program planned by Pujya Swami Sarupananda, global head of Chinmay Mission. Devotees from around the world poured in filled with love and gratitude and eager to bask in the atmosphere charged with love and compassion. During the inauguration, Pujya Swami Sarupananda welcomed the devotees and set the tone for 3 days of Chinmay family time. Pujya Guruji, in his characteristically humble manner, expressed his overwhelming gratitude for the outpouring of love he was receiving from all over the world. He encouraged everyone not only to love him but also to love one another, reminding each one of the first line in the Chinmay Mission pledge: we stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. Pujya Guruji stated that self-knowledge was truly the only precious and everlasting wealth, and it is sweetened and fulfilled through bhakti. He reminded everyone that it was our beloved Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda who brought this sacred knowledge to us in recent times, and hence we should remain ever grateful to Guruji, God and Guru, and sing their glories. It was at the inaugural session that 8 brand new publications were released, each one in a creative and unique way. Much for the delight of the audience, these included 2 books by CIF on Indian knowledge system, Upavedas, Indian knowledge system IKS in application, and Chaturvyodasha Vidyasthanani, a primer on Indian knowledge system, a book by Chinmay Mission, South Africa, after Pujya Guruji. Titled Divinity Personified, Swami Sarupananda's Meditation and Awakening. Pujya Guruji let the heart sing on his compositions and his Navavidha Bhakti commentary, as well as the two much awaited music boxes, Bhakti Ratnakar and one of Sri Rama Nam chants, and the entire recitation of Sri Ramcharitmanas. Needless to say, the Chinmay Vani bookstore in the foyer was busy from morning to evening on all days. Following the inauguration, the audience was treated to a mesmerizing story theatre performance by Rama Bharadwaj, who depicted the descent of art from the heavens to the mortal world through her production Avatarana. Her depth of research, storytelling, and devotion left everyone spellbound. This was followed by a soulful flute recital by Himanshu, whose heartfelt tribute to Guruji resonated deeply with all present, a perfect close to the first day of the program. June 29, a day of artistic tributes. The celebrations continued into the second day with music offerings by Kalyani Joshi, Kalpana, Uma Shankar, and Rageshri Vairakkar. Then Nidhesh Gupta and his group was from Delhi delivered a touching performance featuring beautiful singing with children expressing their love and devotion to Guruji, which captured the hearts of the audience. This was followed by a graceful Kathak performance by Leela Rawat and an energetic dance performance by Malini and Lavanya Kimlani, who are currently students of CIRS. Then came a beautiful Sanskrit composition by Ritvik Koshti, a student from the last Vedanta course. The original lyrics and melody resonated with everyone. The morning session concluded with a soulful vocal recital by Ravindra Damle, who was lauded by Puja Guruji for pursuing his passion while continuing to serve the mission with his professional skills. The audience was treated to Vedic chanting on the evening of day 2 by the present students of the Vedanta course. They effectively chanted a complex Dhanapat guided by Swami Paratmananda and Brahmachari Mukunda Chaitanya. This was followed by a beautiful vocal performance by Aparna Devi, Sindhu Param, and Trupti Saxena. The grand finale of the second day was an outstanding violin recital by Vidushi Kala Ramnath, accompanied by on the tabla by Pandit Abhijit Maharaj. June 30, a day of love, light, and lyrical blessings. On the morning of June 30, Guruji was welcomed enthusiastically by the children of Korban village with a dindy procession, followed by a felicitation by local representatives. When Guruji looked out at the audience, he saw all 900 wearing the same bright and beautiful stole, adding a very special touch to the program. After a specially composed Garjana by Brahmachari Ved Chaitanya and a traditional arti by 5 married ladies came the most anticipated part of the function. Guruji's tongue sound by the Sara, an original composition that focuses on the highest self-knowledge, the means to acquire it, and the benefits of gaining this supreme knowledge. It was as though all minds were being prepared earlier through the devotion soaked 2 days for receiving this divine knowledge, which was distilled and conveyed in a simple manner by Guruji in his inimitable style. Between the two tongues was a beautiful Guru Aradhana, which both Guruji and Swami Swarupananda offering Archana to Puja Gurudev Swami Gurudev Paduka, accompanied by the chanting of Chinmay Mahima Stotram, which added a unique flavor. A most heartwarming moment was when Swami Swarupananda offered rose petals around the thali at Guruji's feet after the Archana. Swamiji also spoke loving words in the lead up to a song in English, which he sang about Guruji, his own composition, first sung 40 years ago in front of the Gurudev. Pujya Swami Swarupananda also shared the delightful fact that Swami Advayananda was born on the same day. Swamiji was then invited on the stage, where everyone joined in singing the special Swami birthday song composed by Guruji. Felicitating him, Guruji remarked, he not only shares my birthday but many other things as well. After the second discourse, Guruji sat at the edge of the stage and met each attendee personally to give them the precious prasad, a card to carry at all times, featuring a prayerful vision glorifying God and the Guru. Guruji sweetly asked everyone to read the bhajan and listen to it to help with various ups and downs in life. After a very special morning, the evening started with a great musical performance by the Chinmay Nadabindu team led by Pramadani Rao, followed by a concert by Vidushi Manjusha Patil, Pandit Abhijit Banerjee and Pandit Rupakul Purnam, all of them maestros and gurus at the School of Kala Yoga of Chinmay Vishwavidyapeeth. Then came the grand finale of the three-day program, a Bhajan Sandhya by Guruji himself, which transported everyone to the hearts of his listeners. While spiritual needs were being taken care of, material comforts were also provided for with great diligence. Devotees were treated to delicious meals at the nursery and the loving hospitality of the Chinmay Vibhuti team. The entire event was a spiritual treat with a focus on all that Guruji knows, Sangeet, Bhakti, Vedanta and love itself. Over the 3 days, Guruji tirelessly met and lovingly acknowledged all the devotees who were eager for his love and affection, while encouraging the performers by being present for every program. All the artists, whether maestros or devotees, had come in to express their love and gratitude to Guruji on this wonderful occasion. Each one felt Puja Guruji's love and causeless compassion, and all went back feeling blessed and fortunate to have been part of the divine occasion. Loving tribute by Pujya Swami Swarupananda. June 30, 2025 is a truly joyous occasion for us all, gathered here in a celebration of a special life, a life that has touched and transformed each one of us. Today we honor not just a person but the living presence of our Guruji, whose life is a radiant expression of devotion, dedication, and single-pointed seva to Bhagavan and our Param Guru, Puja Gurudev. As Gurudev and Guruji have taught us, we actually have no birth and no death either. Yet each day in this life is a gift, and when a great Mahatma walks amongst us, every day becomes sacred. And so this day marking Guruji's manifestation in our lives is not just special, it is deeply divine. This celebration didn't come together easily. It took great perseverance, much insistence and wholehearted effort, because we wanted it to be a true offering of our love to Guruji. And what could be more beloved to Guruji than Bhakti? Bhakti Rasa expressed through bhajans. Many of the most soul-touching compositions we will hear today are Guruji's own. We often sing the songs of saints of centuries past, but here in our midst we have compositions that are sure to become the scriptures of future generations. When Puja Gurudev's 75th birthday was being celebrated, it was a grand occasion for all of us. But Gurudev did that so that he could leave behind for us a mission that was sufficient in every way. And with the Suvarna Tulabhar, he laid the foundation for us, a strong and stable basis by which we could continue the mission without any problem whatsoever. Guruji too, in celebrating this occasion, reminds us that next year we mark the mission's 75th year, a true tribute to Gurudev's vision and our united mission. So here we are together for these 2 precious days. We wish it could be longer, but in these 2 or 3 days, let us be fully present in love and devotion, soaking in every sacred moment. And I have just one request, please let us not trouble Guruji May these days be restful and joyful for him, filled with our togetherness and quiet celebration. Of course, Guruji's greatest moments were with Gurudev, but now these are his moments with us. So, with joy and reverence in our hearts, let the celebrations begin. Prasad by Pujo Guruji. Guru Govind Padaravindam Chinmakarandam Manomirindam Guru Govind Padaravindam Chinmakarandam Manomirindam Guru Sharanam Hari Sharanam Guru Hari Sharanam Mokshapadam Guru Sharanam Hari Sharanam Guru Hari Sharanam Mokshapadam Guru Govinda Padaravind Chinmakaram Manomirind Guru Govinda Hari Om. Chinmay Lahari. Some ask, the world is itself a delusion upon the truth. Instead of knowing the truth directly, why make another set of delusions through upasana? When you complain of digestion to a doctor, he will give you an ounce of carbonated mixture. This is surely absurd, is it not? Your trouble arose because of overeating and overdrinking, and yet to cure you, the doctor makes you drink yet another dose. However, that dose helps eliminate all the undigested material and revives the health. So too, delusion is our disease, and a right dose of the correct delusion will cure it. Poison often ends poison. Similarly, if on hearing or reading somebody is not able to experience at once the truth that the Supreme alone is, all else is imagination, a mere dream like experience, then the next best thing would be to close the book, adjust the mind and intellect, purify the inner equipment through the simple technique advised. The supreme disciples, the rare ones, hear from a master of experience with all attention, full faith, supreme concentration, abject devotion, extreme dispassion, and acute intellectual absorption, and float at once into the experience of it. We are not of that type, and hence, along with satsang, shravanam, listening to scriptural teachings, and mananam, contemplation, we must also engage in a little mental and spiritual exercise. Hari Om. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave